Coming up in VUCast, the first cracks at the glass ceiling? See how feminism was first portrayed on TV news. It's one of the biggest issues in America. We'll take you inside a special healthcare forum. And a big score for the story of the first African American to play basketball in the SEC. Hi, I'm Amy Wolf with VUCast. These are some of the first images of the women's rights movement in the late 1960s and early 70s. But if perception is reality, what changed when the movement came into American homes on TV? A Vanderbilt professor finds out.
The women's liberation movement despises the playboy concept of women, who they say may have been liberated.
When it comes to showing the women's rights movement on TV news, this is how some reporters first portrayed leaning in.
Nothing but sex objects have got to go.
I think television news both hurt and helped the feminist movement.
She's a housewife in training. Rare is the girl who wants to be a doctor, an engineer, or a pilot.
Vanderbilt communications professor Bonnie Dow analyzed television news coverage collected by the nationally honored Vanderbilt TV News Archives.
And some of the depictions of the movement that I talk about in the book are certainly the root of the stereotypes that afflict feminism to this day.
Between you and me, the only equality that exists is in the cemetery.
The women's rights movement had been going on for years before the big three networks took notice in 1970.
There are so many moments in that coverage from 1970 when news workers are, openly disdainful or dismissive or, simply overly amused by the idea that women might have something worth fighting for.
Here's a story about women in the military.
So it would be obviously impossible to fly a regiment halfway around the world at a moment's notice when at least half the regiment could simply never be ready on time.
Other TV coverage from that year gave balanced reports on key feminist issues, like the Equal Rights Amendment, child care needs, and lawsuits over employment discrimination.
The Southern Pacific Railroad had refused for the fourth time to promote her from clerk to station agent. The reason was California laws said women cannot work overtime nor lift more than 25 pounds.
And they would in fact use visuals, that is, use the camera to show these women who had filed these lawsuits, to show them doing the job that the law said they couldn't do.
Legal and social practices that relegated women to second-class status have been abolished.
Though women have made major strides in the last 45 years, Dow says the fight for equality in business, leadership, and politics still has a long way to go.
One of the things that is very difficult for people, and one of the things that this coverage really demonstrates, is how uncomfortable angry women make just about everyone.
This myth of male protection of women does not exist.
Vanderbilt TV News Archives is the world's largest collection of TV news broadcasts, and they received a special Emmy for their work. Learn more on news.vanderbilt.edu, search TV News Archives. It costs $6 billion a year to treat health problems in Tennessee alone. So how do states fix this? The financial toll of health care and other health issues were tackled at a recent forum at Vanderbilt. Chancellor Nicholas Zeppos told healthcare industry leaders, state officials, and others that better health care coverage in Tennessee would improve quality of life.
We must improve our health overall to improve our workforce. And a well employee is a good employee.
The forum also looked at Insure Tennessee, a program proposed by Governor Bill Haslam aimed at helping people who are now falling through the healthcare cracks. A Vanderbilt health policy expert says states with similar programs are seeing strong economic returns.
A study in Pennsylvania showed that they expect to have economic benefits on the order of billions of dollars and have added a number of jobs. Michigan, the same thing. Our neighboring state of Kentucky has already seen a big jump in healthcare jobs.
Read more about the discussion on vanderbilt.edu, search Healthcare Forum.
Picks it up and lays it in. Perry Wallace with 6 points. Top on the board.
A powerful story about the life of Vanderbilt alum Perry Wallace, who was the first African American to play basketball in the SEC, is now a New York Times bestseller. The book, Strong Inside, Perry Wallace and the Collision of Race and Sports in the South, is written by another Vanderbilt alum, Andrew Marinus.
And if you look at Perry's story, it's really a civil rights story, and a story of a pioneer who is achieving things on the basketball court that is elevated to a much different level about race in America and what it takes to be a pioneer in any field.
You can read much more about Perry Wallace and see how he and Marinus were recently honored on campus on vanderbilt.edu. Search Perry Wallace. For VUCast, I'm Amy Wolf.